Hello everybody, and welcome to the next video in the Intro to Coding series. In this video, we're going to be installing Python, and maybe we'll write a really simple Python script, and make sure that we have everything installed correctly. So let's jump into it. All right, so here we are again in Chrome. We're going to have to download and install Python. So we can go and just search Python, python.org. There it is. So here we go. We want to go to downloads and download Python. This will download the one that you actually need for your computer. The website can tell which type of a computer you're on, so it will download the correct one. So we can click this and let it download. Also, I guess if you have a specific version of something that you want to download, feel free to just click that there as well. So this site is actually really useful if you want. They have like all the documentation for what Python is and how it works. You can read a bunch about Python. It's extremely widely used. Okay, so it's downloaded now, so we can open it. Again, I already have this installed, but let's just kind of go forward with it. So you will click and open it and run through the install process. You'll probably get to a point where you have the option to install additional features. Honestly, all of these things are useful. I'm just going to include them here. Do you want to create shortcuts for files? Yes, we want to basically do everything here. And associate files with Python. Nah, we don't need to do that. We can always come back and do that if we want. So, all right, we'll click install. Again, mine was already installed, so we're all done there. All right, so we will close. And let's get out of this. And now let's open up our Visual Studio Code and let's make our first Python file. I said we would get to coding, and we're gonna actually do it. So now that we have Visual Studio Code open, we are going to open or create a new folder for our first Python program. I have said that we are going to get into actually coding something, and this is the first video where we will. So you can click open folder here, and I'm just going to go into dev here and Python, and we will just click select folder. All right, so now that we have opened up the folder, you can see I have a test.py file here, and you can see py is the extension of the Python file. If you remember the files and folders video, the .py is the extension that allows Windows or whatever the operating system is to understand the type of file. So we can click this little new file button here, and create a new file. So we're going to do hello.py. And just to show like how this works with your operating system here, if we open up a file explorer or whatever you have on your computer, and you go to where this folder is. So in mine, it is under documents, I think. Honestly, I need to rewatch my video because I have too many things here. So too many folders. So here we go. Bam, there we go. There's hello.py. So this is just the folder we're basically looking at within this Visual Studio Code program. All right. So we're going to just run create a very simple first program. The classic program you're going to make when starting to code. Alrighty, let's zoom in here and start coding. We can move this over, and we're going to write print. And you can see all these things popping up. This is the extension that we wrote before, and we're going to click the print extension, or you could press enter, or just not press anything. And honestly, that's the one we're going to use. You're going to use an open bracket, which is the Shift 9, and you can see another bracket has been added as well. So the reason is in coding, when you write a bracket, you always need another bracket to close it. So in this instance, we have print, and it it's a function. We'll get to that later on. But this is the open and closing of the bracket. All right, we're then going to do shift and the key beside enter to add in some quotes. And we are going to write hello world. All right. You can see here, this is some information about what print does. So if you are interested, you can read that. So this is like, what are the inputs to this function? Again, we'll get into functions and stuff like that later. Don't worry about that. Okay, now we need to save. So you can either go to File and Save, or you can, as you can see, just hit Control S or Command S if you're on a Mac, or Control S also if you're on Linux. All right, so we've done it. We've written our first file for Python. How we want to run this? We can right click and click Run Current File in Interactive Window, Run Python File in Terminal. This is what we'd like. You can also see Run Selection or Line in Python Terminal. Let's actually try this. I think if we don't select anything, it will just default to everything. So we can do Shift Enter, and there we go. It ran print hello world, and it said hello world. Now, this might not be very impressive or cool, but let's just change this a little bit. So sure, maybe this is like, yeah, it said what you wrote. That's not very cool, right? But what if instead we give it some math? Something that maybe you can't just really easily calculate. And then let's add another bracket here and do some multiplication. So let's do this. So what is 88 plus 99 times 8 minus 11? I have no idea, but let's run. Shift Enter, and there we go. Bam, 1,485. If you don't believe me that that's true or correct, feel free to look it up and tell me. But I'm pretty sure the computer is right because it's pretty good at math. So this is a really intense example, or not really intense. It's a somewhat intense example of you know, why is it useful to print things, or why would you ever want to do that? Typically, you're not really going to be using print very often in writing things, except it's very useful when you have an issue with your code called a bug, and you may want to figure out what's going wrong. So you can write a print and see what is the value of something. Is this what I expect it to be? And you can really quickly figure out what's wrong with your code using something like this. So thanks for watching, and yeah, it's pretty simple, right? So far, so good. You're now a master coder. Yeah, anyways, thank you again for watching. If you've made it this far, please hit that like button. It's free and it really helps out. And if you want to be notified for the next video, then consider subscribing. We're going to keep diving in deeper and deeper into Python. And if you have any suggestions or questions or anything like that, please leave a comment, and I will read every single one of them. And that is a promise, because so far I have no comments. So we'll see. It's pretty easy to read no comments. Yeah, thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one. Never stop learning. Cheers.